जो उमेश गट के उमेश ಆಂಟೋನಿ ಆಂಟೋನಿ
ಹಲೋ
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದೇನಪ್ಪ?
ಸರ್
ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಸರ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್.
ಹಾ ಸರ್ ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಸರ್.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಉದಯ ಶಂಕರ್ ಪುರಾಣಿಕ್ ಅವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್, ಸಿ ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಸರ್ ಅವರು ಇವತ್ತು ಬಹಳ ಒಂದು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನ ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತು, ಸೈಬರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸರ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಪುರಾಣಿಕ್ ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ನೀಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲು ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಚಯವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಆಂಟೋನಿ?
ಹೌದು ಸರ್, ಹೌದು ಸರ್.
ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಉದಯ ಶಂಕರ್ ಪುರಾಣಿಕ್ ಅವರು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಪ್ರತಿಷ್ಠಿತ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಪದವಿಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆನಂತರ ಸ್ನಾತಕೋತ್ತರ ಪದವಿಯನ್ನು ವಿದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರ ನಂತರ 3 ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಲಂಡನ್, ಆಫ್ ವಿಸ್ಕಾನ್ಸಿನ್, ಯುನೈಟೆಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಮೆರಿಕಾ ಮತ್ತು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಸಿಂಗಪುರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ PhD ಪದವಿಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸರ್ಟಿಫೈಡ್ ITIL, 6 Sigma ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್. ಸರ್ ಅವರು 3 ದಶಕಗಳಿಗೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಾಲ ತಂತ್ರಾಂಶ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಮತ್ತು ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. has managed large clients including 5 global banks, insurance, retail and healthcare companies in India, Canada, USA, Europe, Japan, Singapore, Asia ಮತ್ತು ಚೈನಾ. ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಕೆರಿಯರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ 3 ದಶಕಗಳು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಾಲ ಇದೆ. ಇದಲ್ಲದೆ he is a member of Oracle Technology Network since 2003, member of the SAN8 program from Puranik, Singapore since 2002. ಹಲವಾರು ವೃತ್ತಿಪರ ಮತ್ತು ಹೆಸರಾಂತ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳ ಸದಸ್ಯರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಗಣಪುಕ್ಕ ಪರಿಷತ್ನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕಾರಿ ಸದಸ್ಯರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. has 25 years of experience in developing Indian language software for use in Doordarshana, ATM industries, web portals, banks, mobile phones, e-publishing, IVR, call centers of telecom companies, so Amazon and others. ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ATM ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿದಿದೆ. ATM ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದಾಗ ಕನ್ನಡ ಒಂದು ಭಾಷೆಯಾಗಿ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಅದನ್ನು ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಪಡಿಸಿದ್ದು ಶಂಕರ್ ಪುರಾಣಿಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಶ್ರೀಯುತರು 2100ಕ್ಕೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಲೇಖನಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಮತ್ತು ಹೊಸ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವಿವಿಧ ದೈನಿಕಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಲೇಖನಗಳನ್ನ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲದೆ 8 ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳನ್ನು ಸಹ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬರೆದಂತ ಒಂದು ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಪಠ್ಯ ಪುಸ್ತಕವಾಗಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಮತ್ತು ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಯ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠ ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಭಾಜನವಾಗಿದೆ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. He has developed software for ultrasound scanning. He's developed cold scanning technology for digitizing old manuscripts, books, paintings, artwork. Also a technology advisor, different governments and institutions in India and abroad in the field of analytics, data sciences, local language applications. ಇದಲ್ಲದೆ ಅಟಲ್ ಇನ್ನೋವೇಷನ್ ತಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ಮೆಂಟರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಪುರಾಣಿಕ್ ಅವರು 160ಕ್ಕೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ದೇಶಗಳನ್ನ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಲವಾರು ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಭಾಜನರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಯ PhD ಫೆಲೋ ಸಹ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಪುರಾಣಿಕ್ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನ ಸೈಬರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಈ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ, ಅಟೆಂಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ವಿಷಯ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸರ್ ಅವರು 2 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಉತ್ತರವನ್ನು ನೀಡುವ ಇಬ್ಬರು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಈ ಮೊದಲು ನೀಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಬಹುಮಾನವನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ವಿತ್ ದಿಸ್ ಐ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ eminent technology expert Dr. Udaya Shankar Puranik to deliver his talk. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ramesh, and I request the admin to provide the share option.
Anthony.
It is done, sir. It is done, sir.
Okay,
There's
thank
an
you.
option for you. Yeah. So are you able to share, sir?
No, it again got disabled.
No, it is enabled, sir. I can't do anything here because it shows that it's enabled.
Anthony, please check in the system.
Yeah, it is enabled. You can share.
The host has not given permission to Puranik, sir.
Okay, yeah, done. It's given, sir. I'm sorry for delay.
Okay.
I hope you can share it, sir. Puranik, sir?
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah, okay.
ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ.
ಇದಾಯ್ತು.
ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಮತ್ತೆ?
ಸರಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಿ.
Okay, thanks everybody. In the interest of time, we'll start the presentation. So today I'll be talking about 2 aspects, assuming that some of you are having some basic awareness about cybersecurity. At least you've heard about whatever has been reported in the media about incidents of cybercrime. Here we're not talking about a crime, we're talking about security and why it is important and what is it that you and I can do in cybersecurity. So there are three levels, so basically. One, as an individual, we should be able to practice cybersecurity as an activity of everyday life. There's no compromise on that. Anything and everything we do, we have to be cyber secure. Second, if we are conscious about cybersecurity, then all the service providers who provide different services to us, they should also be providing a very secure service to us. Whether it's an internet provider, whether it's a telephone provider, whether it's electricity provider, whether it's any government service provider, anything, they all should be able to be practicing cybersecurity. Only if we as individuals and all the service providers or institutions in this country are cyber secure, then our country becomes cyber secure. So that's a challenge today because not many people understand what is cybersecurity, and there are a lot of myths floating around. One of the common things we keep hearing is there is something called as a dark web, and there are a lot of evil people out there. So a lot of illegal things happen there. Now these are all myths, because there's nothing like a dark web or a white web or a light web or anything like that. Somebody coined that term just to emphasize that when we talk of security, we are also talking about crime. So When we say there is no dark web or any hiding place for anybody, then what is that we are talking? See, any crime that happens in the society that originates from within the society or outside the country. And if we are conscious about that crime, and if we don't take any action in the sense that if we don't try to inform the authorities, for example, the cyber police, that such crime has happened or such crime is being done by so and so, or you have some doubt about some people, if you're silent, it's thinking that I am not rebels, why should I go inform anybody? Then you also become a kind of a supporter of that cyber crime. So where are the cyber criminals? They are not hiding in some underground place or unknown country or a different planet altogether. They are very much amongst us. So we have people who have criminal intentions in our own society, our own country. If they are not conducting, directly involved in crime, at least they're supporting cyber criminals. These people could be on hire from other countries and other organizations, and they could be used against our own country people. So this is the situation. So let's leave out all this jargon. There's something called a dark web. There is something else that happens, and you can go do that, go do this. No, don't get into that. Second thing, as individuals, what is that we can do to practice cybersecurity? That's what I'll be talking today. Okay. So what is cybersecurity? It is primarily a part of what we call as information security. It's not an exclusive thing all by itself. When we talk of information security, we talk about a very bigger picture. And cybersecurity is a subset of that. So what does it primarily address? It addresses information and information systems that store and process data in electronic format. So it's a very vast subject, practically when a cell phone becomes a information system because it stores data, it processes data in electronic format. Same way you have it for computers. Same way your CCTV camera can also be a part of the system. Even your digital camera, even though you might have taken a very, very budget version of a camera, still if it is not secure, then it's an issue there. Because it also stores information, it also processes information, and all this is in electronic form. So even if you have a smart TV at home, if it is not secure, that means it's a issue as far as cybersecurity is concerned. So we are trying to understand, as a holistically, we're not talking about mobile users or internet users or techies or anybody. We are talking about anybody and everybody who uses any digital device or any digital service in our country. Okay, so this is the broad, definition of cybersecurity. You may, as students, come across somebody asking you a question like this in your exam. How do you define cybersecurity? So please try to have a standard answer like this. So what is actually suddenly why so much interest in cybersecurity? Why so much crime is happening? Say, I'm not talking about crime. I'm not talking about criminals. Here we're not worried about who is doing what. We are just trying to look at only one thing. How do we make our country secure? To do that, we have to make ourselves secure and all our institutions secure. So what is really creating all this, need for cybersecurity? Why we should be so much about talking about cybersecurity? One of the things that is creating a challenge is digital data. In the last few decades, a lot of digitization has been happening in a lot of countries. You're also aware of it. We are using social media more extensively. We are using a lot of digital services. Banking has become digital. Insurance has become digital. A lot of government services are providing digital service. Even the platform, what we are using now to learn something about cybersecurity, that's also digital. So there's a lot of data generated every day, and that is growing year after year. Now, all this data should be stored securely. That's important. Second, assuming the data is stored securely, question is, how are we using this data and for what purpose? Are we doing it in a safe way or we are doing it in a careless manner? So you may have a very safely stored data, but we are not using it in a safe manner. That means we are allowing a criminal or somebody with a criminal intent to take that data and misuse it. So we are talking about people, we are talking about process, we are talking about technology here. So the only technology or a process can't stop cybersecurity. So, it can't stop cybercrime. So as people, we also have a very important role in this. So this is one thing, digital data growth, which is kind of exponential for the decade after decade. And still, we're expecting a lot of growth because more people are using internet, more people are using the devices, more people are using services. So this will keep on growing. Second thing is internet itself, since the time internet became something like a public available domain or a service, we have found that, it's very, very uh, easy for criminal intent people to target whoever is unsafely using internet. So if we had told, if we were talking about a couple of years back or even 10 years back, that cyber criminals sitting somewhere in the world can disrupt a business. For example, you can try to stop a television show being on air. You can try to stop a bank performing. You can try to stop a railways from functioning. You might try to stop electricity to Bangalore. He may sit in some remote corner and try to do all this. He's trying to disrupt a business. He's trying to manipulate some election being held in some country, which he is not at all related. He's not a citizen of that country, but he still wants to influence and manipulate election so that some particular person wins the election. Or he could be sitting somewhere and stealing billions of dollars from financial institutions. If we were to say this about even 10 years back, people would not agree at all. That's how is all this possible? But today, that's a real situation. We have people doing all the evil things and trying to believe or at least make themselves, convince themselves again and again that they are safe because they're sitting in some other country. They are safe because they're using some fake name, fake profile, and nobody can find them. No, that's not the case. A lot of these people are being tracked down, irrespective of whichever country they are, and they're being caught. And most of them are even getting severe punishment. So internet is one of the, one of the reasons why cybersecurity has become more important than ever before. And third thing is cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency, what was the game changer in this is people used to steal money from bank accounts, for example. But in the past, they had a challenge. They could transfer from one bank account to another bank account. So you could try to track down from which account to which account or which bank the money has moved and try to get it back. So what they've done today is they don't want to move the money between bank or bank accounts. They want to convert that money into cryptocurrency. And once they convert it into cryptocurrency, it is not so easy to track it. So cryptocurrency plus side is it's becoming very popular. A lot of people are investing in this. In some cases, it is considered legal also. Some countries think it's a valid currency. At the same time, it's also helping cybercrime or cyber criminals to convert all that billions of dollars they're taking away from us or our institutions into cryptocurrency and try to be avoiding, any investigation or arrest or punishment. Like this, you can list out a lot of questions. Say, particularly now after COVID-19, you find a lot of people working from home, working from anywhere, and very few people are returning to office. So to work from wherever you are, where you are a mobile worker, then you require a lot of devices, which earlier was not required. So what kind of devices? At home, if I had to connect earlier, all I required was a computer and internet. Today, I will also like a scanner. I may also require printer. I may also like to connect my mobile itself as an internet connection to my phone, to my computer. I may also like to have a UPS. So all these things, whatever earlier we were not doing it, we are now thinking it's all required. And where we can't afford a UPS, we think that, okay, my electricity connection is so poor, I can't keep on depending on that. So instead of charging my phone again and again, I'll try to buy a power bank. I'll try to do some other thing. I'll try to use a buds. I'll try to use some wireless devices. I want to do all this because I can't be sitting at home only working. I require a lot of entertainment also. So everything which we were probably doing earlier, going to a theater, going to some place of entertainment, which we are already doing it today wherever we are. Even in our cars or any vehicle, we want internet connectivity. We want a GPS running there, showing us where to go. We want to have some entertainment even beamed there. So today you can even get a television channel being beamed on your smart device. So that's a drastic change that has happened now. So all this generates lots of data. And as I said earlier, if devices or services are not secure, then we have to make it secure. So we can demand that you are not secure only when we are secure, when we understand what is cybersecurity. Okay, that's very important. Next is social media. You all probably use social media, students, so you know how much active you are on social media. You probably earlier we didn't have that much of options. Today, practically everybody is on social media, and some of them are so used to it. You find them practically in every form of social media. I don't know how they find the time to be in all this every day. They'll be posting, they'll be sharing pictures, they'll be sharing a lot of activities on social media. But remember, while you're doing all this, you are doing with strangers. You may have 5,000 friends on Facebook or Instagram or any other account, but how many of them you really meet in real life? You probably, if you're talking about new friends or new acquaintances, you're not even probably meeting 100 people in a year. But on social media, we find, people saying that I have 1 lakh followers, I have 10 lakh followers. And how many of them are real? Most of them could be real. Some of them could be fake also. They may be observing you very carefully because you're very popular, and they may be just waiting for you to make a mistake. Once you make a mistake, they try to do a lot of things which we will discuss later. Next activity, which is probably triggering a need for cybersecurity, is the growth of e-commerce. And today, mobile banking is becoming very popular. People don't want to go to a regular bank. They want to do all the activities using their mobile phone or computer and internet. Wallet payments have become popular. Today, we're talking about cashless economy. The use of QR codes is also becoming very popular. Now, all these are again generating data. Again, we call all this, as source of data. And as I said earlier, data should be secure. And we should use that data in a very secure manner. And only then people can't steal that data or modify that or misuse it. What are the other things which are triggering need for cybersecurity? Because as I mentioned about, one of the activities cyber criminals try to involve is in politics. They try to support a particular candidate, try to interfere in election process, not in our country, but they try doing it in other countries. So politics, once it gets in and they try to use this kind of unethical ways, that's a challenge. Next is terrorism. Terrorism is not just the terrorists, what we keep hearing in physical form, whatever groups they belong to, and the acts they do. Cyber terrorism is very real. And these people are also doing much more dangerous act than a physically present terrorist group or a terrorist person. Human trafficking, that's increasing like anything because of the anonymity you get on this kind of criminal acts. So people are smuggled, people are made into slaves, children are sold, women are sold. A lot of human trafficking is happening across the countries and using fake passports, fake identities, and fake phone numbers. A lot of things are being done. And drug abuse, for whatever reason, is unfortunately increasing in practically all the countries. And the movement of drugs from wherever the source, different sources, maybe from one country to another, from one place to another, or moving up the value chain. Somebody is growing all these plants, which ultimately get converted into some drug. Somebody is processing it. Somebody is converting it into different products. Somebody is transporting it, and somebody is selling it. So they have their own supply chain, and they're destroying the social fabric of any country by promoting this kind of substance abuse. So this kind of reasons are all creating data, good data, bad data, but at the end of it, it's all data. So for you to investigate, suppose you want to have a career in cyber crime investigation, then you also have to make sure you're getting the correct data. If the data is modified, then it may lead you under a very false impression you're trying to track a criminal, whereas you may be going on the other side. So whatever data we get, that should be secure. Nobody should be able to modify that, and it should always be available. That's very, very important. Okay. So what is the need today? As we are talking today, we are talking IoT devices. You might have all heard about IoT, right? We have different types of IoT. IoTs in automobiles, IoTs which are used in healthcare, IoTs which are specifically meant for industry use. We call it as IIoT. So I won't be getting into too much explanation about IoT, but that's a growing popular application today, and we are expecting that by 2027 there could be around 41 billion IoT devices. So that's a great thing, because we had about 8 billion in 2019, and we are expecting it to grow to 41 billion in a couple of years. So these numbers can change. They may even become 50 billion or even more. The question for us is, how do we make these IoT devices secure? If they are not secure, imagine the kind of data they generate and the kind of data that can be misused using all these devices. So that's one of the challenges we have. Second thing is, if these IoTs are not whatever is already in use, the 8 billion or 10 billion IoT devices, what are already in use, we find that most of the times the IoTs which are targeted by cyber criminals are internet routers. So you might be having some basic understanding of what a router is. It's primarily a device which helps you connect you or your organization to internet. So if that itself is compromised, then you can imagine, the kind of information a cyber criminal can get either from your home or your office or a bigger organization like a bank or a government office or anywhere. So this is one more challenge we have, because as we have a number of internet users growing, again, this device's sales will increase, implementation will increase, but we also have to educate people how to make it secure and how they can use it. That's very important. Next thing, if you look at statistics across the world, this is just a study, not a, real statistics. We have just taken an average there. Once you connect to internet, whatever device you're using, whether you're using computer, whether you're using a mobile phone or any other device, within 5 minutes, you are targeted. You won't even know that because you are browsing, you think you're safe, nobody's watching. No, within 5 minutes they target you. And if at all you are doing it very unsecurely, without any regard for safety, then within 24 hours, you become a compromised device. You'll have a compromised phone or a compromised computer or a compromised network. And if your device is compromised or your network is compromised, imagine what can happen to all the data in your organization or a bigger institution like a bank or airlines or governments. Just imagine what all can happen. So that 5 minutes, you may say that I hardly use internet for 5 minutes, but within 5 minutes, you're attacked. That's the situation today. So we all have to understand how to safeguard ourselves from this kind of situation. I'm not getting into details, how many attacks happen in a minute, how many happen in a year, or how many happens in a day. I'm just saying what is the seriousness today for cybersecurity. So what is that you and I can do in cybersecurity? One, use secure passwords. Please change your passwords at least once in 30 days. Second, don't have the same password for all your accounts. I don't want to forget something, so I will have the same password for Gmail. I'll have the same for Yahoo. I'll use the same for Facebook. I'll use the same for some other application. And in the end, one day somebody takes one password, they'll get access to all of this. So please make it a point, have different passwords and they should be secure. So what is different between a non-secure and a secure password? Your password or the password which I use should follow a standard. What's the standard? It should be alphanumeric. That means you should have a capital letter, you should have some small letters, you should also have numbers, and you should also have special characters. Please don't use your own name in that. Please don't use your friend's name or your pet's name or whatever you think is easy to remember. No, don't use that at all. It should be a random choice of numbers. Don't try to make it like India, whatever it is, or Bangalore, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anybody can guess that. Or don't try to bring your vehicle number there. Don't try to bring your date of birth. No, zero tolerance for all of this. Don't do all of that. So take random numbers. Initially, you may find it a little difficult to remember passwords, but once you make a practice of that, you'll be safe. And you have to change that. Nobody will ask you to change it, but please change it at least once in 30 days. And when you change, don't reuse the old password. For example, I am using a password for Yahoo. I'll change Gmail password, but I'll use Yahoo password there. Don't do that. Or I might have changed, let us say, Gmail password about 3 months back. I'll try to reuse that. No, don't do that. You can always come up with combination. A lot of combinations are possible. So spend a couple of seconds on that and come up with your own unique password. What happens when you make a secure password? You are secure against what we call as a brute force cyber attack. You just try to break in your password and try to get access to whatever services you are using. So once you keep your password unique and also keep changing it and try to make it secure, you are protecting yourself from brute force cyber attacks. Second, somewhere you're using some computer, maybe you're going to, we all come across this need, you go to some office and they say that you can use our office computer. You may go to a friend's place. He may say that I have a problem. Why don't you look into my phone? Or you might try to help somebody who's having problem with internet. So wherever you are doing this, if at all you come across any doubt that that device or service is compromised, immediately stop using it. I might have paid, 30 rupees for 1 hour in a cyber cafe. Doesn't matter. You just get up and walk out. For that 30 rupees or 20 rupees per hour, whatever I have paid, I don't have to expose myself because I think already that system there is insecure. So the 20 rupees may appear like a big amount, but the point is the information that you may lose in a very unsecure network will be thousands or lakhs of rupees or even very invaluable. So wherever you feel you are having a doubt, stop using that service and get out of that. Second, use only secure computer, internet, and phones. Don't use which are shared computers, shared internet, and phones. Like, for example, they may have a one phone which is used by 3 people in 3 different shifts, and they may say that nothing will happen. No, we don't know. In each shift, what the phone has been used. Somebody had downloaded an app, somebody sent something, somebody tried to listen to some pirated music, somebody watched a movie. We don't know what all has been done using that phone. So don't use those kind of things. Okay, and regularly back up your data. So don't say that, no, I'll do it once in a while, or who will take my data? No, don't go with that. Please back up your data. 2 reasons. One, if at all you have a hard disk issue, you can try to get back your data. Second thing, if you are under cyber attack, for example, like a ransomware, they say that I am taking control of your computer and you have to pay this much Bitcoins. Then you can just say, take a walk, reformat your system and reinstall all the data, which they think they control. But if you don't have backup of data, then it's very difficult to do that. So what is a common practice? If you are an institution, for example, if you're a college, if you're an organization, if you're a bank or any institution, then you should back up your data every day. Even if it's incremental, please back it up every day. So don't say that I'll do it once in a month, whenever I get time, I'll do it. No, you are taking a risk. More the difference between whatever your backup data and your current data, if that difference increases, you are at risk. So always back it up. Suppose you have taken photographs using a smartphone, then please back it up somewhere. Or you have some documents which you want to back it up, please back it up. Don't allow somebody to hold it and threaten you and try to make some money out of it. Next, when you're online, this is something, we all have to remember. We have a lot of public figures online, but we believe they are personally doing it. No, they don't do it. They allow somebody else to manage their online presence. So we come across this, we come across situations where I'll say, oh, you're going to cyber cafe. Please also check whether I also got some mail. Are you going to check, examination results? Please log in using my credential also and try to find out how much marks I got. So don't do that. You are owning your own online presence. There's nothing like sharing password, sharing identities. Nothing of that is allowed. Next, when you share information, please be very careful what you can share in public domain, what you can share in private. For example, we are here in a webinar. So you're saying that I attended a webinar is fine. But if you list out all the friends, the attendees, we are seeing around 13 people are there. I presume all of them are students. So if you take out names of all those people and where they came from and start putting it on saying that, oh, I met all these people when I was in a webinar and it was a nice, meeting them all. This is their name, this is their college, this is their city. Then you are exposing a lot of information. So don't do that. Don't do that at all. So you should know what information you should share, what you should not share on any platform. In social media, don't share your date of birth. Doesn't matter. Even if 100 people forget wishing you happy birthday, makes no difference. Next, don't share your photographs in public. Don't share any personal information, your family information, or wherever you're going, what you like, what you don't like, anything. Please don't do that. And this applies to people who use TikTok or make all this short videos and try to become popular. Same with them. People who want to do a travel log and vlogs, video logs, and try to put it up on social media. They also need to be careful how they're taking these logs. People who want to teach history on social media, YouTube, for example, they also should be very conscious what they're revealing without their knowledge in this kind of videos. Whether you come live, whether it's a recorded edition, whether it's an edited version, please be very careful what information you want to share in that particular service. Next, Wi-Fi hotspots. We find this plenty. You go to some reputed coffee shops, you find people connecting to Wi-Fi because it's free there. And what do? They keep doing their office work there. They want to do e-commerce shopping there. They want to use banking there. Now, remember, this is just a Wi-Fi hotspot. It's not a secure service which you may get in your home or your office. It's a public domain. It means a shared service. And if it's insecure, then you're in danger. You try to do banking and all your password login entries can be captured by somebody sitting in the same shop. And he may log in immediately after you leave and take all your money. So please be careful what you want to do in any of this kind of, so-called free Wi-Fi or free internet. Even if you're staying in a hotel, you may get a complimentary thing. You may get it in a coffee shop. You may get it in a railway station. You may get it in an airport, wherever. Be very careful what you want to use it. So what are the vulnerabilities? Where we generally don't look at secure things, there are some vulnerabilities we have to look in, we have to make it secure. One of the things is web browser. You may say that, no, I'm using the latest version, it is very secure. You may be using the latest version, agreed, but you also have what is called as extensions. So please go back to your browser, look into the options, look into the settings. You'll find you might have allowed some extensions to be active in your browser. If it is there, remove that. Remove that. It may be extension connecting you to a game. It may be extension connecting you to some online service which says that don't buy a PDF software. You get a PDF software, I'll convert it into Word, give it to you. So you can edit that and present it as your own assignment. Why do you want to pay for some service like that? I will do it free of cost. No, don't go with all this free online photograph editing, anything which is there. Most of them will ask for a extension plugin into your web browser. So be very careful what you want there, what you don't want there. My personal opinion is all these are not required. Games, free services and all that, remove them. Second, messaging clients. You might be using Messenger. You might be using some other client. Be very conscious. Go back to the settings there and make sure that they are secure. Whatever you're trying to chat, it should not be visible to some unknown person. So that's a care you got to take away as far as safety is concerned. Next is web application. We mentioned about banking, we mentioned about tax, we mentioned about games, we mentioned about so many applications. So unless it is from a trusted source, please don't use any of this web application. Don't download, don't install, don't use them at all. Often we find forwarded apps. So this is very good. Please use it. Without thinking whether it's from a secure place or not, we just download it and start using it. Randomly, you can check any of your phones while we're talking. You may only not remember when you downloaded some app and put it into your phone. You may not even used it. You have forgotten that app is there. You may not even used it for last 6 months or 1 year. Then why do you want that app there? Excessive user rights. This one more mistake we do when we install apps. It asks for permissions and you say yes, yes, yes to everything. For example, if I'm taking an app which allows me to book tickets online and it asks permission to say access my contact list, access my folder, access my image gallery, why should I give that? So don't blindly accept the permissions. Don't say, no, take it, because I want that app. You got to think why that app requires all this. Worst case, what may happen, that app may not actually install in your system. It's okay. You may get some other app which is much better, which doesn't ask all these 110 permissions, and you may be able to do the same work. So no compromise as far as permissions are concerned. These are all vulnerabilities because we overlook that, and when we overlook that, we end up paying a huge price. And because we are insecure and the system become insecure, we also contribute to making our country insecure. It's a very simple thing and easy for you to remember. Just remember 3 words as far as data is concerned. CIA. Confidentiality. Make sure your data, you have access to only people you want apart from yourself. Don't make it public. Don't allow any option of unauthorized people getting access to your data. Second, integrity. Make sure that data, whichever you receive, has not been altered in any authorized manner. You're getting the complete data, not a modified data. Third, whatever information you are using, that's a bank or a service or an office network, whatever it is, make sure that it is accessed and modified only by authorized people. If everybody in an office starts modifying some data, what will happen? We talk about access management there. That's one more area where you can think of a career in cybersecurity. So just remember 3 things as far as data is concerned. CIA, confidentiality, integrity, availability. It applies to all data, whether it's your mobile data or your laptop data, your camera data or your CC camera data, any device, even if it's a smart TV at home, yes, it applies to that as well. So some of the common attacks is what we call as phishing. Phishing is a practice where they try to create fake emails or SMS, and it appears as if it has come from a trusted source. It's as if like a bank has sent it, or a credit card company has sent it, or some e-commerce site has sent you, saying that you got a discount, you're a selected few. Now, why don't you come and use that? Often it comes with an attachment. That was the earlier practice. Now, no attachment. All you will have is just open that email or SMS. You don't have to do anything. Some of them still use a link, which they prompt you to use that link and then come to some unknown site and try to take your information. Now, I made it very simple. If you just open it, that means you're acknowledging that you opened an email or a SMS. Then that whatever that's malware they have put into that will enter your system and steal all the information. So be very conscious in opening these SMS or emails. Even though it appears same, check whether it is from the trusted source. even before you open it, please check it. You can browse over there or mouse over, and you can come to know that whether it is real or not. Check who is sending it. For example, it may say KSTA. If it says ksta.go government.in, maybe fair enough. If it says no, KSTA at Pakistan.government, whatever site, would you still like to open that? So check the sender. Don't blindly believe it is KSTA and accept it. It can come from a college also. Don't look at the name, or it may come from a bank. Oh, this is your statement. Other way they send it like you got some gift, some Santa Claus sitting somewhere suddenly decided to give you some money. No, all this doesn't happen. So phishing is one of the common issues where people get fooled, and unfortunately they end up becoming a victim of cyber attack. So you have different type of phishing. One is mass scale, where they try to send 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh kind of emails from a single source and try to get some victims, or they may do it with SMS. Spamming, that's another way of phishing. They just try to spam and try to get somebody to believe that and try to become a victim. That's one way. Spear phishing is something like very targeted individuals, maybe like bank account holders or income tax payers or government officials or anybody like that. It's a very target group, but they don't send it to everybody. And they try to make it as genuine as possible so that you believe that and you act on that. And whaling is where you're, for example, trying to look at big position people. For example, Ramesh sir, Dr. Ramesh, the CEO of KSTA. So I'd like to target only Ramesh or the chairman or the honorable members of KSTA, because these are all high profile people, very reputed people. And if I am able to convince them, I can steal some information from their bank, their credit card, and try to make some money. It's a whaling, you're targeting the whale, very important, target. So it may be about a politician, it may be about a officer, it may be about a industrialist, it may be about a celebrity. So they spend a lot of time targeting them and trying to get some compromise somewhere. So this is, common types. I'm not giving the exhaustive list there, but what I'm trying to say is let's be aware of this and also make people aware that these things are happening. Please take precaution. Social engineering is one more thing. So suddenly you can find some people calling you on phone, trying to become friendly. Some stranger sends a request on Insta. You accept him and they try to be very nice, talk very politely, try to get your text, trust. So all that messaging can happen. Or somebody may you come on instant messaging. Somebody may become a friend on email. All this is social engineering. And all this is done in a very convincing manner. You won't have any doubt. You won't have any doubt at all because they do it in a very nice manner. Their objective is, instead of trying to break into your computer or phone, they just want to convince you, gain your trust, and cheat you. So be careful about strangers suddenly becoming friendly, very pally kind of thing, and sharing gifts, sharing some information, trying to meet you, inviting you for lunch, inviting you for coffee, and just to try to gain your trust. Slowly they talk about personal issues. They ask how many people are there in your family, how many siblings you have, what's the hobbies you have, would you like to watch a movie with them? All these things they try to do that because it's all our tactics of social engineering. So be very careful when you come across these instances, particularly targeted at children, or school children, or even young people in college. They're easy targets for them. So please be very careful about that. Next is what I mentioned about malware. So malware is primarily, have a list of that. You have a virus, you have worms, you have Trojan horses, you have bombs, you have spyware, unwanted ads coming up because of adware, ransomware. Like I mentioned, people try to take control of your data or your system and ask money for that. So you have a lot of groups of malware. So we have to be conscious about it. Oh, there are so many ways they try to, attack us and steal our data. So this is one more issue. All these types of malware, how do they put it into our phone or a computer? Okay. Nobody comes and puts it, right? Unless we are so careless. So what happens is you go to some normal website, let's say ksta.com or .organization, some normal looking website. It's a very trusted website. But what they would have tried to do is, because they put adware or you already have some adware in your phone or computer, it displays some ad. It tries to say that, if you click this ad, you get 50% discount on books published by KSTA. Something which prompts you to click that. Once you click that, what happens? From this normal website, you are redirected into some compromised website. They direct it. So finally, they take you to what we call as an exploit server kit. All this happens within fraction of seconds. You won't even know this. So here they put all this malware into your computer or and that happens in the background, and they're not very big files. For example, exploit kit by itself, maybe just about a few hundred bytes or even less than that. And today we are talking about terabytes. You won't even notice that something got into your computer or your mobile phone, and you continue working. Nothing happens with the computer, nothing happens with the phone. But one day when they start activating all this, you'll face the problem. So what we should do, don't get into check whether it's a compromised website, whether it's a spam link, whether it's an unauthorized app. If that is a doubt, don't use it. So some kind of attacks, I mentioned about different types of cyber criminals. Some are very organized organizations, and some are what we call as cyber terrorists. The other name for that is state actor or state-sponsored cyber criminal. Just like we have certain countries funding, training, protecting terrorists, there are countries which are funding, training, protecting cyber terrorism. So what do these people try to do? They try to do one of the common attacks they do is denial of service. For example, you have an e-commerce site where a lot of people are coming, shopping, and it's a prime time for that service provider. Then they keep on sending a lot of traffic into the site and trying to prevent genuine customers reaching this e-commerce site. You're denying that service. The site may be all right, but customers are not able to access that. You might get a message saying that site is down, service is not available, any of these things. And please use a mirror site. That mirror site may be a fake site. So this is one of the activities they do that. It's called as a denial service, very targeted against maybe banks, targeted against insurance companies, any online services, even media, even research firms, hospitals, anywhere, or even to travel agencies or tourism providers, hotels. You can find this kind of attacks, targeted attacks, and trying to prevent the service being available to people. That's one thing. Even it can happen with mobile phone companies. Suddenly your phone calls get dropped, your network is not available. A lot of things happen and we start wondering why, what happened all of a sudden. It's a fake traffic. They just keep on multiplying the traffic so much that the company is unable to take that. So that's one of the type of activity. Second is what we call as DDoS. Here it is not just one cyber criminal organization doing it. Multiple cyber criminal organizations will attack on one system at a time. For example, you want to bring down electricity supply in Bangalore. You can't do that with one organization, right? So there'll be some 10 or 100 different cyber criminal organizations. They'll start targeting North Bangalore, South Bangalore, Central Bangalore, East Bangalore, West Bangalore at the same time. And they'll keep doing it from so many locations at the same time that somewhere the whole system will crash. So this is another dangerous thing we call it as DDoS. This can happen with television, this can happen with telecom, this can happen with our satellites, it can happen with anything. And we keep fighting all this. It's not like they don't keep trying, they keep trying, and we keep, deactivating all their efforts. Next is spoofing. Now, spoofing is something you always have to be careful. Where do they spoof? Suppose I reveal my mobile phone number in a public platform, then they can spoof that phone number and try to make some other unauthorized calls or send some threatening messages to somebody. So when police try to investigate, what will happen? It will show as if your phone was used for all of that. And you have to prove you're innocent. Or if they're trying to spoof an IP address of a device or a computer, then they'll try to show that, oh, look, all this has been done by you because your IP has been used. So spoofing is one more thing they try to do that. Man in middle is primarily, for example, I am trying to buy something from an e-commerce site. So I'm going to use my credit card to pay for that. So the person in between, if it's a untrusted or an unsecure internet I'm using, that's the reason I said don't use public Wi-Fi hotspots or free internet to do all your banking and other activities. So suppose I'm sitting in a public Wi-Fi hotspot, let's say a railway station, and it's not secure, it's just a basic facility. Because it is free, I want to buy something on e-commerce site. It's free, right? I feel it's a nice thing. Let me continue using it. So what happens in that case? I'm going to go to the e-commerce site. I'm going to buy something. I'm going to make a payment. So somebody in between can take up my card data and use it somewhere else. So this is possible. So that's the reason instead of getting into trouble, let us try to avoid trouble once for all. Second is, this is common. You go to ATM, somebody will stand very close to you, almost, looking over your shoulder, look at your PIN number, remember that. And next time they come up with a fake card, use your PIN number, take your money and go away. Where else you find this, students? If you're traveling by public transport, suddenly you start opening your phone, logging into something, your neighbor, the person, co-passengers sitting with you, will be also trying to look what you're trying to do. Or somebody behind you will be trying to shoulders off. That's a word we use to find out what you're doing. So you may not even notice it, or you are sitting in a college, you're trying to do something, somebody casually walks by, but tries to look at what is your password. Or any activity you're doing, even in an office, if you're doing something, please be very conscious when you have people coming close to you. It's like close to comfort. You don't like people almost, being touching you, right? So we don't like people who are looking over my shoulder and collecting my information. It's as simple as that in security. So if it's ATM, ask whoever it is behind you to stand a distance. Otherwise, don't use that ATM. Go to some other ATM. So this is kind of, ransomware messages you get if your exploit kit installation on your phone or your computer is successful, then you get this kind of message. It says that, look, we are taking care of your, we can encrypted all the data in your computer or your mobile phone. Now, if you pay this much in Bitcoin in, let's say, next 24 hours, only then we will decrypt it and allow you to use it. This happens often in unsecure organizations. Somebody would have done a mistake and they would have put the entire organization into risk. So what I should do? Should I pay Bitcoin or whatever money they're asking? Answer is no. Because they may take the money, but they may still not decrypt your data and give it to you. Only solution is backup. If you have backup, then you don't have to pay anything. You can just reformat your system, reinstall your data and continue using it. Of course, with a increased layer of security. But don't getting into blackmail, paying money, paying ransomware money. Don't do any of that. If you are threatened, directly go to the cyber police. If you don't know who is cyber police, then go to the nearest police station or call the police control room and ask them to connect to the cyber police. They will do that. You can lodge your complaint. Now, from career in cyber security, you have a lot of options. You don't have to be just engineering graduates. You can be a graduate in science, arts, commerce. You might be a PG in management. You might have studied medicine. You might have studied law. And in some instances, you might have even done a diploma. Not all diplomas, of course, qualify, but some cases, yes, you must still try to get a job in this. So what kind of jobs? I'll quickly walk you through that because we're almost running out of time. So one is, these are what you find in this. This section is primarily from development perspective. If you like doing coding, if you like to do programming, if you like to do some technical work, yes, you can try to focus on that. Second is, this is where you're trying to do some frameworks and standard implementation. There are a lot of frameworks and standards to be implemented. You can try to look into that as an option where you are not doing much of technical work, but you are aware of what needs to be done and you're trying to implement that. Third is where you're going to monitor. If there are cyber crimes that are happening, you will monitor, you try to come up with and know that you identify that and you alert people. And you are not going to solve any crime, but you are at least alerting people there's a crime that's possible. And people, whoever is the authorized professionals for that, they will take care of that. So we call that a security operations center. In SOC, you have three options. One is you are just looking out for any possible cyber attacks. And if at all you think there's a cyber crime, you're going to alert the organization about it. And next level is you are going to fight back a cyber attack. Okay, the cyber attack happened. You're going to try to limit the damage it is causing and also push it back in the sense like you're going to make the cyber attack fail. There may be some damage, but not the entire thing which you would have lost if you had not fought back. Third is investigation. Okay, in spite of all your effort, some crime happened. You're going to find out who did it. You're going to track them down. You're going to hand over all the evidences, the digital evidences to the police, and they're going to submit it to the court of law and get these people to jail or severe punishment as per the law of the country. So these are different options you have in cybersecurity. You can choose any of this as your career option. So finally, what I like to say that is technology is important in cyber defense, but it's not everything. It's just a small part. You as a person or people is very, very important. Please protect yourself. And if it's a business or an organization or anywhere, the best defense is employees. So all these organizations spend a lot of time and money on training their people. So best way for cybersecurity, always be aware, always be on your guard. So with this, I'd like to conclude my talk. And any questions, I'd be happy to answer. And thanks again for Ramesh sir and KSTA for giving me this chance to share some thoughts with you. Wish you all the best.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್. ಆಸ್ ಯೂಶುವಲ್ ಬಹಳ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿತ್ತು ತಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಈ ವಾಕು. ನಮ್ಮ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬಹಳ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಭಾವಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿಸ್ಕೋ ವೆಬ್ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ನಲ್ಲೂ ಹಲವಾರು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಈ ಒಂದು ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನ ಆಲಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಸೈಬರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಮಾರ್ಮಿಕವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಬಿ ಅವೇರ್, ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಬಿ ಆನ್ ಗಾರ್ಡ್. ಇದನ್ನ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಹಾಗೂ ಈ ಒಂದು ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಟಾಕ್ಗೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಪಾಲಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಮನವಿ. ಈಗ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ದಯಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಈಗ ಕೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಮೇಲ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಕಳ್ಸಿದ್ರೆ ಉದಯ್ ಶಂಕರ್ ಪುರಾಣಿಕ್ ಸರ್ಗೆ ಕಳಿಸಿ ಅವರಿಂದ ಉತ್ತರ ಪಡೆದು ತಮ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಇನ್ ದ ಮೀನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ 2 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನ ನಮಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹಿಂದೆ ಸಂಜೆ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಗಳಿಗೆ 2 ಆನ್ಸರ್ಗೆ ಸರ್ರೆ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಂದಿನಂತೆ 2 ಬಹುಮಾನವನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಉಮೇಶ್ ಘಾಟ್ಕಿ ಅವರೇ, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇದೆಯಾ?
2 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇದೆ ಸರ್.
ಕೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
Permit me, sir. Sir, nowadays few of the companies post job applications and call for the interview, which will be, most of them will be fake. How do you come to know about those? This is one question from one of the participants.
Okay. If it's we had to check, if you are in doubt, that's what I'm saying. If you are in doubt that this may not be a real company which is inviting you for application, interview, or even the offer letter they're giving out, please check with the original company. please cross-check. You can ask, whether you're doing this kind of interviews or you're hiring anybody. Did you contact me? So I just want to make sure that before I reply, I just wanted to cross-check. They'll be more than happy. They may even appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. And even nowadays in Facebook, a few of the profiles will be copied and they will be requesting money to others also. So without our knowledge, this happens. So how can we get over this?
And that's because we share a lot of information on public domain. Our photographs are not protected. We make it as public. Our information is not, we literally share everything there, right? So all they're required to create a fake profile is my photograph, my name, and some personal details. So if I'm trying to, you have an option in Facebook. You can kind of, go in for a protected view of your profile. Then whatever you're sharing in your Facebook will be available only for your friends on Facebook only. It's not available for everybody on Facebook. But if you want to be in a public domain, then be very sure about what kind of posts you're doing. See, for example, if I take a screenshot of our webinar now and I want to put it on Facebook, I'm doing a disservice for all of you. I can just write a post that, okay, I attended a webinar organized by KSTA, thanks to everybody. That's fine. But if I take this, what will happen? Literally, I'm revealing who all attended this. And we're creating a problem, right? So let's not try to create problems. Let us try to be very careful there. And if you're so sensitive, then forget the numbers game. As I said earlier, even if I have 5,000 people on Insta, it doesn't make any difference because I'm hardly going to meet maybe 50 of them.
Yes, sir.
So
Correct.
why are we getting into popularity there? 5,000 likes I should get, 50,000 likes I should get. And believe me, most of them are brought out.
Correct.
On a YouTube, you suddenly find some song becoming very popular, 1 billion views, ridiculous here. Most of it is managed. So don't go by that numbers, that likes are more, people are commenting more, that person is very popular, celebrity and all that. You are not there for a contest. You are there for making good use of social media platform. Please do it securely. And people asking money, with a fake profile, irrespective of who it is, don't pay.
Yes.
Don't pay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is one more question. Can you please just explain about the secure sockets layer?
I wish I could answer that, but we are literally running out of time. So I'll probably try to answer it in some other occasion.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. You are started with basics of cybersecurity and how to be secure ourselves. Excellent presentation, sir. I'm sure students will be highly benefited. Also, you told about the career opportunities in cybersecurity. Thank you very much on behalf of KSTA and all the participants for this very interesting and informative talk. And if any of the students ask any more questions, we'll be forwarding it to you. Please kindly answer them. We'll share with the person who has asked. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಮನವಿ, ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಯಾರು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು CSR ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೈಜೂಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಈಗ ಒಬ್ರು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರಾಜೇಶ್ ಅಂತ ಒಬ್ರು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬೈಜೂಸ್ ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಆಗಿ ಕೊಡ್ಸೋಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಯಾರು ನಮ್ಮ ಟಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇದರಿಂದ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಯಮಾಡಿ ನಾಳೆನೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಈ ಒಂದು ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಲೆಗೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಈ ಮೂಲಕ ಮನವಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನಾಳೆ ದೀಪ್ತಿ ಪ್ರಸನ್ನ ಅವರು ಸೆಮಿ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಮಗೆ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ನಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ನಾಳೆ ಸಂಜೆ 4:00 ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
ಸರ್.